I am no longer breastfeeding. Ian stopped breastfeeding about a week or two after he turned 1 year old. It wasn't that I didn't want him to nurse anymore. In fact, I was not ready for him to stop nursing. I loved nursing him. He weaned himself. He decided he was done and he didn't want to have anything more to do with boobs, and he just gradually stopped. But let's see. So when I was pregnant, I wanted to breastfeed. I was sure that I was going to love it. Then when we were in the hospital, I couldn't get him to latch, but I wasn't surprised that I couldn't do that because of the type of TMI, by the way. If any guys are watching this, you probably don't want to watch anymore. I'm just saying, you've been warned. Anyways, so I knew that I was going to have trouble nursing him because I didn't have nipples that were conducive to nursing easily. I'll just say that and I'll leave it there. Yeah, so it took me a few tries, but I had a nipple shield and that worked wonders. So, it didn't hurt or anything, and I thought this is wonderful, and I didn't know how much he was getting, and that kind of worried me, but whatevs. Then I came home from the hospital, and I went from an A to a C overnight, and it hurt. See, it felt like somebody shoved boulders up inside my chest and up under my armpits, and I can't even describe how much it hurt, but it hurt, and it felt like there were rocks in there. And then Ian would latch on, and I wasn't latching him on correctly. He had an awesome latch, I just wasn't putting him on correctly. And that caused my nipples to hurt. And that felt like somebody was blowing a blowtorch on them and then shoving them down the garbage disposal. So that's how that felt. So I had boulders and blowtorches and garbage disposal nipples, and the whole thing was just horrible. And when it would be time to nurse him, I would cry because it would hurt so bad. And Neil was he was like, you should just stick with it because I'm sure that it's gonna get better and you'll like it. But when I would start crying, then he would just be like, it is not that bad. If you want to stop, you can totally stop. We'll just get some formula. And then I would cry like, no, I don't want to stop. I can't, I would feel awful and guilty. And so I would do it, but I would be crying. And then he'd be done and it would be okay. But then the next time, I would be like, I don't want to nurse. I don't want to do it anymore. I hate it. And Neil would be like, stick with it. And then I'd cry, and then he'd be like, it's okay. You can stop if you want. And then I'd be all, no, I can't stop. And it was just bad. And that lasted about 2.5 weeks, and then my boobs kind of evened out and just didn't hurt so much, and I got a better latch with Ian, and then my nipples didn't hurt anymore, and then everything was just rainbows and unicorns after that, and I really liked nursing, and I'm glad I stuck with it. It was hard for me to nurse in public for the longest time. I was extremely uncomfortable doing it because I was trying to use a cover, and he didn't want the cover on, and he'd be knocking it all around. I'd feel like I was exposing myself everywhere, and then the nipple shield would fall off, and then milk would go everywhere, and it was just awful. So I really just liked nursing at home, but I didn't really want to bring bottles with me. So yeah, once I got really comfortable nursing Ian and stuff, at some point during our nursing times, I just kind of started not caring what other people thought of me nursing or of what they were seeing, because my kid was hungry, and I figured, you know what, though you may not like seeing me nurse here, but if he starts screaming, you really wouldn't like me, so I'm just gonna choose to make you uncomfortable with my boobs here. But I think I was still pretty discreet every time I did. I mean, I just didn't fling out a boob or anything like that. And I pretty much always used my cover. I just got a lot better at doing it, and yeah. I did pump when I was nursing. I would always feed him from one side, and then I would pump the other side. And so then on the next feeding, I would feed him on this side, and I would pump this side. And so I had a ton of milk stored in my freezer, which I never used until he started eating solid food. I mean, not solid food, but pureed food and stuff. And then I would use the breast milk to mix in his food, in the baby bullet. So then I did use it. I didn't use any of the frozen milk, but I would pump fresh milk and then make his food. And all the frozen milk, after he wasn't nursing anymore, I just gave all of that to my neighbor who had a new baby. So there's that. Let's see what else. Once I wasn't feeding him purees anymore, once he was eating table food but he was still nursing, then I would still only nurse from one side. I just would let the other side, like, I just didn't do anything with it. So he would nurse from this side, and then this one would be all big and this boob would be all small, and then the next feeding I'd have, so I always had one big boob and one small boob. I never had like an even rack, which sucked. But there you go. Once Ian stopped nursing, I went back down to my A's, which sucked. And it sucks even more because before I had A's, but at least they were like nice, plump little A's, and now they're like deflated, sad little A's. Right after that, I got my first Aunt Flo, and I'm on my second Aunt Flo right now, so this is pretty recent that I stopped nursing. Anyways, that's my last video every day in May, and it was nice playing this game with you guys, and from now on I'll probably only do like 1 or 2 videos a week, but probably just 1. I don't know, maybe 2. And the next time I do this crazy video everyday thing, it will be an actual Veda and not a VEDM, which is something that I just made up. It'll be an actual Veda. So I guess August, maybe? August? If people do a Veda, then maybe I'll do a Veda then. So anyways, hope you guys have a nice night, and I will see you not tomorrow. Bye!